It's a tremendous honor. I have a lot of family members that have served in pretty much all the areas: Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force. I've had family members, including my dad, do multiple tours. And so the military and what they mean to our country, those are real life, everyday huge freedom and so much more. And so I've just always grown up understanding that, the importance of that, and the appreciation for them, but not just my family members, but to all who have, served our country. I just think there's not enough recognition and honor and praise that we can give those individuals, and so it's a tremendous honor and something that that I care about deeply and take very seriously.
Did you know Odell Beckham at all from your time in New York? And do you have any opinion whether you'd like to see him come here?
That was I never played with him as a teammate, I should say. But it's he's been one of the most dynamic receivers in the league. And I don't know any player on any team that don't want to play with other great players. And so, but I trust our organization. They do, what they feel is best for our team. I know they're going to do that. And they always put us in position to win, and so I trust them above anything. But I guess in short, I love to play with other great players, and he is certainly a great player.
How important is it, Demario, as a leader of this team and part of the culture that you all fostered here, to be able to have that as a selling point? I mean, it seems to me like players around the league probably talk and where they'd like to play, and you all have done a great job. It seems like making this almost a destination for other players. How important is that for you and to this organization to be able to have a winning culture and a team-first culture like you'll been able to have?
Well, I think that's what our culture is exactly, a winning culture. Our culture is based on winning, from the top to the bottom. That's the most important thing in the building, is winning, and it's how we get those wins that's most important. It's our process, the way we approach the week, our details in that process, and I think it's focusing on what's in front of you. We have the Titans this week, and so we locked in on those details, and you just don't have the luxury to get caught up in anything else. And anybody who likes to win, hopefully that's attractive to them, but we don't have time to, especially in these times, to get caught up in all that. We have to be locked in on our process and our details, and that's why we win.
I heard you say that some other players have come in here initially from outside and said, like, man, this is more intense than maybe other places. Was that you or someone else that said that?
Yeah. I mean, once you get into our practices and the way that we practice, and the attention to detail and what that toll that's going to take on you mentally and physically, especially when people get here, in training camp or off season, and early in the season, some of our practices are a lot more physical. But even week 8 it's a mental grind. Understanding situationally what you're going to get and the tweaks that we make in our meetings, and then being able to have to take that to the practice field quickly. I've been in other organizations, and it's not like that everywhere. It takes a little bit to adapt to when you first get here, but I think the first thing people understand quickly, a week or two in, is, oh, okay, well, this is why they're successful. This is why they win, and we have to continue to press into those details. We have to continue to make that process even better, if we want to continue to have that success.
Mario, I'm not sure how many times you've played against him, or if you played against conversation, but how amazing to see Adrian Peterson still going, and also just what stands out about him to you?
Yeah, when you look at the running back offensively, you know, and how physical of that position that is, with the amount of miles that they have to run, and all the banging going on in their body at the same time, for him to still be, you know, running strong at this point in his career, it just speaks to him. You know, how talented of an individual he is, how much of a pro he is. That team still want him in their locker room. It speaks to, you know, how well he takes care of his body. It just, you know, and I mean, you're looking at a first ballot Hall of Famer, you know, and he's still going strong. So, you know, just kudos and respect to him.
Without Derrick Henry, does their offense look any different? What are you seeing on tape there that he's, you know, out for a little while?
Well, they're a very talented team, well-coached team. You know, Coach Vrabel has those guys playing very hard. You could tell that he's built a very physical team, offensively and defensively, and you know, so that's their MO. You know, and anytime you're a physical attack team and you want to run the ball, you're not just gonna be able to do that with one guy. You gotta, even though you have, you know, one of the top backs, if not the best back in the league, you still gonna have to have other guys that can get the job done. And you know, they have a good running back by committee. They have a lot of guys who can come in behind him and get the job done, and some explosive receivers, really good offensive line, and so they present a lot of challenges. Not to mention, you got Tannehill playing at a very high level, and you know, keeping the offense in good situations and making smart decisions, and you know, letting it fly when he need to. So they present a lot of challenges. You know, it's a well-built team, and you've seen the success that they've had in the past few years. So it just speaks to how well they're coached and the type of players that they have at multiple positions.
Your event the other night, you had plenty of teammates show up, but Jameis in his suit and a big bulking knee brace. How much did that mean to you to see him come out, even though, you know, he could be resting and, you know, not doing anything right now?
You know, one thing about Jameis, I said over and over, and many people will probably echo it. You go all the way back to Florida State or Tampa Bay. Jameis is one of the greatest teammates ever. You know, it's not even close. And I think it comes from just how much he loves the game and he loves his teammates. And he's got one of those personalities. He's just a joy to be around. And you know, none of us was expecting him to be there. You know, but he still showed up and wanted to be a part of it. You know, and you appreciate stuff like this. I think long after this game is done, as many highs and lows as this game bring, it's the brotherhood of the locker room that's always going to be what's most appreciated. You talk to anybody that's left the game, you know, it's like a fraternity. And so when you talk to all the guys who've retired and walked away from the game, they all say the same thing. You never forget the brothers that you played the game with, the bond that you had in the locker room, that camaraderie. And it's moments like that, you know, him showing up to the event, that's something I'll never forget. It meant a lot to me, it meant a lot to my wife, you know, and so it's just a great teammate. It just speaks to who he is in the midst of the adversity that he's going through, you know. When somebody loves the game as much as he loves the game and that's taken away from him, that's hard. But you will never see that when you see him. You will never see him talk about that. You will never see him express that. He's gonna have a smile on his face. But it's pain in the inside. And so for him to be able to push through that, you know, I think you learn a lot about people when they have success, but you learn the most about people when they go through adversity. And you know, it just speaks to the type of character that he has, and you know, that's a brother for life.
Demario, did you grow up a big Titans fan, just being related to Steve at all?
I was a huge Titan fan. Disappointed watching the Rams beat them in the Super Bowl 1 yard short. Yeah, I grew up. I wouldn't say necessarily a Titans fan. I was Steve McNair fan, but yeah. Eddie George, Dyson, Frank Wycheck. Yeah, I was locked in, man. We was all watching for them to win that Super Bowl, and they just a yard short. So, yep, that's family.
You just said you're disappointed that one of the greatest linebacker plays in NFL history.
Huh?
You're disappointed to see one of the greatest linebacker plays?
Oh man, I was an offensive guy then, and yeah, man, that was crushing. That was crushing, you know, but yeah.
What attracted you about McNair? What was it about him you admired?
Well, I mean, it was my first cousin, so. When you got a relative in the NFL, you know, everybody in the family paying attention to everything that was going on. But I mean, you know, coming up in Mississippi, he was the closest thing to Jesus. You know, that name Steve McNair, he could do it all. You know, run, throw. When you look at the type of player that he was in college and all the records that he was breaking, you know, he could do no wrong. But it was even more so the type of person that he was off the field that was amazing. He did so much for the community. He did so much for the area that he was in Mount Olive, Mississippi, and throughout the state. And I think anybody that knew him, you know, would talk about him as a person more than the player. And so he just did so much for so many people. And so I just grew up as a kid kind of watching that. And it was just it was inspiring to me, and a big reason of why, you know, I had that same dream of wanting to make it to the league.
Time for one more.
I got one, just the run defense. Obviously, the Saints' run defense reputation is going to precede it now with your ranking the numbers. But how committed have you found opponents to be in running against you so far this season? And is there any reason to expect the Titans to approach it any differently than the previous opponents have?
I don't think we played a team yet that wasn't committed to the run or abandoned, you know, the run, you know, mid-game. You know, all the teams try, and they just, you know, haven't had much success. And so, you know, they in a game, you know, as coaching, you're just gonna go to what's working for you, and that's obviously not working. And I mean, for us, that's where our details have to be, you know, better. Is we need that same mentality in all areas, you know. And so when you're able to come in and make teams one-dimensional, you got to be able to take out whatever else is coming, you know. And so when we do that, we're very successful. When we don't, you know, we still leave teams in the game, and so that's where our mindset is. It's on those details, you know, not just in, you know, being top in the run, but understanding, you know, what passes we get in drop back situations, you know, play actions and stuff like that as well.
Great. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you guys. God bless.